first of its kind for FCA. We are aware that the purpose of today's webinar, because at FCA we prepare ahead of every event that could happen. So we are aware that syllabus has been changed effective from November 2025. And because of this, that is why FCA has prepared this webinar to sensitize our students and ensure that our students are well prepared for the new syllabus. Okay, so with me tonight, my name is Ajimoko Ayodeji. I will be facilitating this webinar. We have two great speakers. Of our webinar today is what we call, let's discuss the new ICAN syllabus. Okay, and under the theme, we are going to be looking into 4 different topics or 4 different areas. Number 1 is going to be the new ICAN syllabus impact assessment. And the second one is going to be general overview of the newly introduced courses in the ICAN syllabus. Okay. And the third one is going to be readiness assessment on the planned digitalized professional examination. And the fourth one is going to be practical preparation tips for ICAN exam. So if you are ready, and I'm sure that students are ready, so I'm going to invite the first speaker. He is the chairman of our Noble Tuition Center. His name is Ayomi Ladokun, which everybody, you all know him, you call him Ayomi. So he's going to be the one to be taking the first part of the webinar. All right. So Mr. Ayomi, if you are there, please, you can take the stage now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, we can hear you.
Very well, sir.
We hear you, sir.
Very well, thank you. All right. Good evening, colleagues. You are welcome to this webinar. Thank you, Mr. Ideji, for the welcome address. I want to believe we had a great day today, and also I think this evening or around afternoon time, there was this news circulating that ICAN result has been released, which gave some students some pressure, so to speak. But notwithstanding, I think it will be held tomorrow. And everybody listening, I wish you the very best. All right. So once again, you are all welcome. And this is a webinar, and let me quickly talk about the etiquette. So I'm going to mute everybody so that we can have a smooth deliberation. Of course, so what that means is if you have questions, you can put it up on the chat button as we move on. So we have a moderator in the house who will help us to look at those questions. And I'm not alone. I also have Mr. Taiwo Ibrahim that will take us through the practical preparation tips for ICAN exams. And as we all know, we have the new syllabus and a lot of discussion, apprehension, deliberation around it just before now. So what FCA is trying to do is to extray the new ICAN syllabus, which will be effective November 2025, and try to read the mind of the examiner, or ICAN as it were. And how do we also instill confidence in our students, just to give them some level of confidence to say that we can overcome this actually. So when ICAN introduces new syllabus like this, For example, last exam, everybody was saying, hey, I have to pass, I don't want the new syllabus to meet me and all of that. But the question is, if the new syllabus actually meets us, does it mean we cannot, overcome it? Obviously, we can. So, want to break it down into pieces. We have studied the syllabus over time, and as we speak, we are preparing greatly for next diet. In fact, we have to overhaul the materials and all of that just to incorporate um, what ICAN is trying to achieve. But notwithstanding, we are not surprised around the content of the new syllabus. We already anticipated this long ago, and this was supposed to have been done, I think, 2021, 2022, but obviously, for one reason or the other, the syllabus was not ready. But now it is ready. So what is really going to happen? So once again, you are all welcome. As you all know, this is First Choice Academy. We are a professional service company, that provides range of services, but particularly ICAN tuition for foundation, 8 years, professional level. Now, I'm confident to say that we are blessed with seasoned tutors and conducive learning environment. Now, for the content, as my moderator has said, we are going to check 3 key areas. Instead, we're going to come on to take us the last one, which is number 4. So for number 1, we'll be taking a look at the new 2025 ICAN syllabus impact assessment. Okay, so here we're going to explain what changed, part of the syllabus, the outlook of the exam, and again, that will now also take us to what student needs to really do in this regard, all right, to prepare for this exam. And again, I mentioned earlier that we are not actually surprised. So when we go through this, I will show you why we are not actually surprised by this development. And number 2, we also look at the general overview of the newly introduced courses. So a number of courses were introduced, even though we'll still touch on the existing courses, just maybe 1 or 2 comments on them, but we'll be focusing more on, newly introduced courses. But I can say that virtually all the papers were imparted, a lot, some modifications, some additions, some, remover from the content of the syllabus. And of course, number 3, we heard the news when the new ICAN president, the current one, was inducted into office, where he mentioned that ICAN is ready to go digital from November 2025. All right, so that's why we included number 3, readiness assessment on the planned digitalized professional examination. So this is not clear as of today, but notwithstanding, I will share my experience with you when I wrote ACCA, because obviously that was computer-based exam. So a number of people have been saying, does it mean they will scrap calculation? What happens in this area? They will not scrap calculation. So how does it work? I don't know whether they are going to copy what ACCA is doing, or ICAN will come up with its own model in terms of digitalized exams, or probably are they really ready for November? So we're going to discuss some of this when we get there as well. All right, so let's start. So I have these key insights for us. I want us to quickly take a look. Now, it is no longer news that ICAN has unveiled a revised professional examination syllabus. The syllabus actually seeks to support the country's fiscal reform agenda and improve public sector accountability. So I saw a lot of connectivity in all the papers, in ICAN, right? And that speaks in volume, as the case may be. Okay, so but then the ICAN is trying to align with the current trend. In fact, naturally, the syllabus is supposed to be reviewed every 5 years, but because of the fast-paced macroeconomic environment, it has been reduced to 3 years. In most exams, international exams, actually every year, like ACCA and the likes. But ICAN is saying, okay, probably 3 years because of the energy involved and all of that. And another thing we need to also take note is this: the syllabus embeds key provisions of Finance Act 2020 to 2023, and also aligns more closely with expectation of the ICAN Accountability Index, promoting transparency and efficient public financial management. So, by implication, you need to know what is really going on in the country and even beyond. How does it, with this activity, impact on organizational performances? So it's going to be more strategic issues, across the entire curriculum in ICAN. Now, the revised syllabus is set to take effect in November. So in addition to the public sector reforms, the curriculum incorporates modules on artificial intelligence, sustainability reporting, and responsible finance. If you study the syllabus, I saw something around the CFO's responsibility is going to move from Chief Financial Officer to Chief Value Officer. So it's going to be Chief CVO instead of CFO. So these are the things we need to start thinking about. But more importantly, technology around artificial intelligence is going to impact on the way we work. That's the reality. I saw a documentary yesterday where the Big Four, I'm not sure it's happening in Nigeria now, but I think in the Western world, the Big Four, the Deloitte, EY, KPMG, PwC, they already slashed their entry-level recruitment by 29%. So what they said was that the entry-level job can now be done by AI. So you can imagine. So AI is gradually taking over. So it's all over the syllabus, especially for financial reporting and strategic business reporting, which has replaced corporate reporting. Okay, so these are the issues we will be looking into, and of course, sustainability report. It will interest you to see that sustainability issue also presents itself in public sector accounting. Obviously, you have that in financial reporting. We see it in public sector, even in taxation, the interrelationship between all of these around the syllabus. And of course, we have a new standard in that regard, IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. And FRC Act is also there. So these are the things we try to explain and incorporated them in our current material. So that's why it is, we are ready actually for the next guide. Again, let me say that personally, I was not surprised, because if you've been in my class, especially for corporate reporting, I've already been taking strategic business reporting because I already saw that coming. And then the last issue here is to say that the key highlight of the syllabus is also the integration of digital and technology related skill sets. Okay, just as we mentioned much earlier, preparing accountant for the demand of a digital economy. So these are the key insights that I have for you guys, and you have to really think about this. I normally say something anytime I lecture, especially corporate reporting, which is now strategic business reporting, to say that everything you require to pass that paper, you may not necessarily read them from textbooks. All right, so we are going to get to that phase over time. You may not necessarily read them from textbooks. Once you understand IFRS, right? So the issue now is what is really going on in the economy. So what I see from the mind of the examiner is to say there'll be more they will extray what current issue, yeah, let me call it that, current issue in the economy. I'm not saying you're not going to read, obviously you read, but what's really going on? How does it impact corporate performance? How does it change, or what's the effect on reporting? Okay, so these are things we need to, really get ready to do. And of course, you cannot have a lazy lecturer for business syllabus. So the lecturers, have a lot of work to do as well, to do a lot of research, even beyond the syllabus, as it were. So this is really very important. So let's go to the first module, the new 2025 ICAN syllabus impact assessment. So let's look at the key impacts, assessments. Number one, there is data analytics. It features almost everywhere, almost all the papers, including financial accounting at the foundation level, business environment, financial reporting, even advanced taxation. So you see data analytics, blockchain technology, artificial intelligence, like we said earlier, virtual accounting, cyber security. So you need to think about, how do I improve my knowledge in this area? All of this is already shaping financial reporting. It's as simple as that. But when you look at some of this technology, especially AI, for example, there are still issues around job displacement. That will be the issue around AI. But AI can make you to do 2 hours job in 1 minute, right? And they can work 24/7, unlike humans that want to go and rest, want to go back home, want to take leave. AI will not take leave, right? So what that means is it may accelerate, companies' reporting performances and all of that. But the issue here is we're still having an issue around intellectual property, copyright issues. For example, if I have an AI or chat GPT, and I say, AI, can you help me to create a design for my business, right? And somebody else also asks that same AI or chat GPT to do the same, and it could be similar from one entity to the other. So the question is, who has the copyright? So we still have that issue. And of course, AI might also be subject to data breach, right? How am I sure that my data are safe? So these are issues. So if you have a company currently that has risk management system in the company, so they need to start assessing the impact of AI risk on the business environment and the impact it's having on financial reporting, which you can also call corporate reporting as it were. So these are issues. There is an AI auditor, or there's an AI account finance that can post. There's also an AI that can audit at the same time. Okay, so it's going to really, shape the industry. I didn't say I can't mention in green finance. It's also part of our current issue, but they didn't mention it in the syllabus. But I know at some point, probably when they doing the revision, they will also mention green finance, or probably that's what they replace with responsible finance. I'm not really too sure yet. Okay, so these are things that is already operating in the Western world, in Europe. All right, so we're just trying to catch up in this part of the world. Cybersecurity, once your business is on the internet, you're already exposed to cybersecurity, right? And then if there's a cyber attack, I'm sure some of you might have experienced this before, it becomes a serious issue. How do you recover? Share that information, financial information is already in the public. I remember there's also a regulation in that regard, the NDPR and all of that, all of these are coming into the spotlight. And I can want to be sure that you are well equipped in this area, so that because you are no longer a bookkeeper, as it were, you are now more strategic business advisor. When the company wants to adopt technology, what advice do you want to give them? And that's why I say have case study, in ICAN curriculum. And the next one is ethics. Ethics has always been there, but in the current syllabus, it is more prevalent. And of course, when you look at the country, you talk about EFCC, they are there, Financial Crime Commission, the ICPC. You can see public holder, ethical issues up and down, and of course, accountants. You are also in that space, so they want to try and promote ethics. So when accountants are faced with ethical dilemma, how do you respond? All of these will be done in the class actually. Or am I lecturing already? Sorry, I'm just I'm just trying to break them down. We are starting lecture this weekend actually, but it looks like I'm lecturing. Okay, but I know some of you are also here just expecting your final result and you're chartered, so that would be really great. Okay, so but for you guys that you still have exams to write, so I need your attention. So I'm not actually lecturing, I'm just explaining. Yeah. So if you really want to see full lecture, yeah, come to see. Okay, so ethics has always been there, but now is more prevalent. It's on the entire paper or any paper you're thinking about. Ethics is going to be there. So you can decide to test ethics in any exam or in any paper, whether financial accounting, business environment, corporate and business law at the foundation level, or even managing accounting, performance management, So you need to, really understand what ethics, is all about and how you respond. And again, he will not ask you what are the examiner will not ask you kindergarten questions to say, tell me the ICAN code of ethics. No, he won't ask you all those five. Remember them: integrity, objectivity, confidentiality, professional competence and due care, and professional behavior. He won't ask you that. He's going to create scenario. Go and write it down. In any paper, he's going to test this. He will create scenario. So it's now left for you to look at that scenario and see which of the ICAN code of ethics has been breached. Is it integrity, or objectivity, or confidentiality, right? Then how do you respond to that? So that's what it's going to say. So we're going to teach all of these when you come in from this weekend actually. Then audit is there. You have audit and assurance at the skills level. Then you have advanced audit and assurance at the professional level. Now he has added forensics. Even though forensic is at the professional level before now, probably about 3-4 pages in the ICAN pack. But now he has added the name to the subject or to the course. So it's now audit, assurance, and forensics at the skills level, and at the advanced level, it's calling it advanced audit, assurance, and forensics. Even though in the syllabus it's still saying AAA, but by implication, if you look at the content, you see forensics is now featuring. So of course, forensics is very wide. This is just because of the crime rate, in the environment, the way people commit crime, you can't just imagine, right? There was a time, anytime I probably maybe I'm cash trapped and I use a POS, all right, or ATM, when you have to print, something normally tells me that a time will come that this information on those papers, these people can use it to attack your account. All right. So immediately I get it, I'll make sure I get it. That's number one from POS. Then I would have to destroy it. Some of you, when you buy fuel at filling station, you need to watch out for there's something they call card swap. You can swap your card, right? So if your card is red, so after inserting, you press your what's it called, your PIN. Then when they want to return, they won't return yours, they will return another red. So they swapped it, so they're taking your original card, and as some that they can easily clone it. They just do as if the card is falling down, so they already copied the information on the card. So you could see that cybercrime, is really prevalent. But again, so this forensics obviously related to corporate organization as it relates to audits. All right. So what will be auditor's response in terms of forensic? And I guess ICAN is also responding to, I think there is, what's it called? There's an institute Charter Institute of Forensics, in Nigeria already. I think they're about to be signed into law. I'm not sure if it's been signed into law yet. So probably ICAN is trying to quickly respond before that is signed into law. But this is really a big area that we need to think about. And the next one, as I mentioned earlier, is the inclusion of sustainability framework. You see it in financial reporting, in public sector, and of course in strategic business reporting. I can bet it. Sustainability will be tested in financial reporting and SBR in November. Yes, I can. So I have to, really sit on the material to work on this. And I'm sure it's going to start. Okay, so for financial reporting, I think we limited it to IFRS S1. And for SBR, it's saying IFRS S1 and IFRS S2. But I'm very sure that we'll start asking for the provisions of FRC, as the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, around the readiness and the roadmap to adoption of sustainability in Nigeria. All right. So obviously, it's going to be from 2027. Even IFRS 18, it will replace IFRS 1. So these are the things we need to start thinking about. Then the public sector as well, there is also sustainability framework, because obviously in the public sector, apart from IFRS, you also have IPSAS, in the public sector. All right. So these are things we really need to think about. But remember, FCA is ready to take on all of this. Now, subject now show direct interdisciplinary relationships. For example, in tax, it can start asking you, how do you report tax issues in your financial reporting? All right. It can link up ethics in taxes. In fact, in most cases, or in recent time, in advanced taxation, is asking them to write reports. Ideally, you want to think of, reports is in case study, blah blah blah, and all of that. But then it's already, trying to move around all the paper. They like the fact that they don't want you to predict them. So that's why every diet, you will see a question that you don't even know where it's coming from. They don't like the you being able to predict them, which is actually okay. But if we prepare well, we won't be surprised, okay, when we get into that exam. And one notable impact again is that there will now be mandatory computer-based text on ethics. So be with me here if you don't understand this. If you are not qualified in May exams, May 2025, that will be released tomorrow. If you maybe you already know you still have some papers to write. Once November exam, or once you are going to write November exam, you'll be mandated to write to sit for mandatory computer-based text. That is already done in ACCA. So this, let me just explain how it works in ACCA, but I'm not sure the modality for ICAN yet. All right. So in ACCA, they call it ethics model, right? So two ways. You can sit for it before your exams or after your exams, after you have passed your papers. So you have the option. It's a computer based. So all you just need to do is to go in there, log in. So it's a course, like a course, just like you're listening to an online course. So you listen to all the modules. Then at the end of the module, you will now write a short test. It's computer based, just be clicking. So they play scenario, then you pick the right answer. So it's not as if you will write a formal exam, just like normal ICAN exam. No. That's what some people are saying. Hey, there's another exam you're going to write. No, you're not writing any formal exam. But for you to be inducted, after you have passed all your 5 papers at the professional level, you must sit for this computer-based exam, right? Or computer-based test on ethics. They didn't call it exam, call it test actually. So it's on ethics. That's why I also mentioned that ethics is now more prevalent. Just wanted to be sure that you guys are grounded on ethical issues or ethical concerns or ethical dilemma. All right. So let me say that again. You can in ACCA, that's what they do. You can either do it before your exams or after, you can do it at any time in the year. Just log on to the website. It's already, provided. Click on it, listen to the course, and at the end, you are going to do a short test, and you must have pass mark. If you don't have pass mark, you're going to repeat it. All right. So once you have the pass mark, it will pass you automatically. Then you're ready for your induction. So that's another thing we need to do. So do you need lectures on this? Obviously, no. You don't really need any lectures. They are still, since it's the computer, it's like AI now, they'll be lecturing you. So all you just need to do is to listen properly and, just some things that make sure you understand it before you proceed to take the tests. Okay. It's just like you are doing, what's it called? Maybe aptitude test online, stuff like that. So that's the way it is. All right. And the last one here is scenario-based questions. Okay, maybe apart from foundation, maybe some papers at the skills level. You see, if you're writing professional exams, be ready for scenario-based exams. It's already taking it back to what's it called, at the skills level. Yeah, it's already introducing scenario-based questions. So it may not be 100% for now at skills level, but you might also need to, prepare for that. But at the professional level, you have to prepare for this. And let me tell you why. Remember, we're going to look at the number 3 content around the digitalized exam, right? So it's already preparing for that time. So that's why scenario-based will be more prevalent. You read scenarios, then the requirements are analyze them. Okay. So, and again, the problem with scenario is it will waste your time. I normally say that. So you need to, if you are not used to reading or don't like reading, or when you are reading in the exam mode, don't forget the exam mode, you might be thinking that the song you want to lead in church on Sunday, your mind would have gone far, or your food that you did not warm yesterday, you want to go and eat after the exam. So, somehow your mind will just fly away. You now have to start reading. So you need to practice a lot of scenario-based questions so that your mind, your brain are already used to it. So when you get into the exam, you don't waste time. Because the reality is that if you have a lot of, let's say from number 1 to number 7, all of them are scenario-based. Come on. If you are lucky, maybe you are able to attend 2 questions. The question is, how will those 2 questions fetch you 50 marks for you to pass? So this is also going to be more, but I can vouch that at the professional level, you cannot escape it. But in some papers, at the skills level, you may also introduce it. But if you look at the content of the syllabus, it already is embedded. You will not say it openly like that. But you can read, beyond the numbers or beyond the text. You see that, hey, this is what the examiner is actually saying. All right. I hope you're enjoying the story. Okay. I hope you're enjoying the story. I know you have a lot of things going on in your mind, but don't panic. You don't need to panic, actually, right? So I just wanted you guys to have positive mind. That's why we have to organize this so that everybody can actually, have some level of confidence. Okay. So you don't really need to panic. I mentioned something earlier. Once you have a seasoned lecturer, you don't have any issue, right? Once you have a seasoned lecturer, you don't have any issue. But remember, we still have a section that will now tell us the practical steps to take, to pass ICAN exam. So don't worry, we are together. Now let's look at the other, the second impact assessment. Number 1. So what I'm thinking is this: ICAN wanted future-ready professionals. It's as simple as that. Sometimes most students are quick to blame ICAN. Hey, this. Why did they involve this? Why did they include this? They want to kill us. No, they are not killing you. They just want to prepare you for the future. All right. Okay, so you can let me say this. The moment you say you are a chartered accountant, just go for an interview and say you are a chartered accountant. They will be seeing you as a semi-god. Yeah, a semi-god. That like they see you automatically as a perfectionist. That's the way they see you. When they now give you Excel, or you do small VLOOKUP or whatever, you're not looking. Even common formula, You cannot do it on Excel. I am a chartered accountant. You see? So the moment you say I chartered accountant, everybody start looking at you, hey, you know, because they respect the institute, the integrity, the professionalism, the critical thinking, you know, is always there. When an accountant produces a report, you're like, wow, what a report. So that's what they are trying to achieve. So they don't just want to produce accountant for producing sake. All right. So that's why sometimes if you are not successful in a paper, right, after crying, yeah, it's okay to cry. That's not a problem. Everybody has cried at one point or the other. So cry first. So after you have cried, right, now come back. How did I get it wrong? Or where did I get it? I normally say something. There is no way you will write very well in that exam and they will deliberately fail you. It's not possible. Because I normally say something that, who is the marker? How did they mark it? How? When you wrote the correct thing, they will now say, okay, after they've done the first marking, you score 60. Somebody will now say it's not 60, it's 15. How? It's not done. So you now come back and reflect. How did I, really get it wrong? So what I think from this syllabus is that they just want to fortify future-ready chartered accountant, right? They want us to be able to compete globally. You can't say I'm a chartered accountant now in Nigeria, and I get to the UK, I cannot practice, or I go to Canada. It's always a problem. It's always a challenge. That's why you see I can making a lot of efforts to do, what do they call it, ZMOU and all of that with CIMA, with ICAN, with CPA, even with ACC and all of that, okay? So you should be able to compete globally and with international best practice, right? And of course, number 2 is enhanced technical knowledge, right? So as a professional, to be honest, you must have technical knowledge. When an officer is talking, even you may be an officer now, but because you are chartered, the quality of your thinking will be like this, so wide from that an officer or a non-accountant. So they want to promote your understanding of technical knowledge and practical insight of aspiring accountants so that you are equipped with emerging issues. You can imagine someone that is chartered, let's say in 1990 or in year 2000, for example. What has happened from the year 2000 till now? A lot of things has changed. So that's why they keep saying you need to keep equipping yourself, you need to know current trend and all of that. A lot of people were chartered before IFRS, all right? And now, some of them, they're still working as an accountant. So how do you cope with that? So emerging challenges are coming, every time. Look at Israel, Iran war, look at Ukraine, Russia war, all of these are causing a lot of global disruption in terms of supply chains and all of that. So they have a lot of impact. So what value do you bring to your organization? All right. So that's why this is, very important. So I want us to have a positive mindset in this regard. And number 3 is a waiver framework. So I saw ICAN, they introduced a new waiver framework, allowing candidates to seek exemption from previously failed subjects. What does that mean? If you have written a paper before and the person failed, you can apply for exemption, but on the condition that you have obtained a qualification or relevant qualification that demonstrates your competence. So let's say, for example, maybe somebody failed maybe taxation, for example, right? And the person now went to do CIT. It's very relevant. So you can produce that certificate that you demonstrated competence, then you'll pay for that exemption. So you don't need to receipt it. So that's one major impact in the current syllabus that they have introduced. Okay, I hope that helps. Now, so if you listen to me carefully, I've talked about the impact in a very wide area, and of course, you as a person, how does it also impact you? Basically, you need to think strategically, and you need to be current with current trend, right? So you need to know what's really going on, globally and locally. So that's very important. Now, because of time, I can talk on and on. So let's quickly look at general overview of the newly introduced courses. But as I mentioned, I will just talk on probably some of all of them, just for you to see the new paper. So number one is the foundation level. So before now, we have 4 papers at the foundation level. Then we also have 4 papers now. But what changed is that number 2 and number 3. So that's why I painted it in red, right? So we have financial accounting. We still have it. Then we have we used to have management information. Now they call it management accounting. We've had management accounting before now, so they brought it back, but because that's what they have in ACC. But the management information is still embedded in the management accounting. The business management and finance is now called business environment. That's what you also have in ACC. Do you remember that CSME that was scrapped? Corporate strategic management and ethics. Most of those what's it called, business model there, they now loaded it in the business environment. So all your tester, your SWOT, and all of that, you start seeing that right from the foundation. Then you have we used to have business law, but now they call it corporate and business law. So the business law here, relates to, for example, if you study banking and finance, you must have done business law. But if you study accounting, you will do corporate law, right? So now they are combining the two. So they call it corporate and business law. But obviously, it is Nigerian law system, right? So let's look at financial accounting. Now, again, can you see? The syllabus is wider than this, so I just did this extract. Now, on the left, you see computerized and virtual accounting systems. So this is the computer aspect of financial accounting, right? So you have computerized accounting system. Number 2, you have digitalization in financial accounting. Then it will also test candidates around use of the following: data structure, blockchain technology, that's distributed ledger system, artificial intelligence. Can you see right from foundation level, virtual accounting principles, fraud opportunities arising from working remotely, right? Look at this. So, and most likely you may not even see textbooks in this regard. So who do we ask for textbook? Maybe AI. Okay. So but don't worry, essay is ever ready, right? Now, when I look at the syllabus again, look at the accounting standards. Somebody that read agriculture, somebody that read biochemistry, somebody that read physics or engineering or computer science, coming into foundation level, will be faced with these IFRS accounting standards. But you can't blame ICAN. You know why? They are already preparing them for financial reporting and for strategic business reporting at the professional level. Look at this, IS1. But I was surprised he didn't mention IFRS 18. He mentioned it in the financial reporting and, of course, strategic business reporting. But probably didn't want to bother them with IFRS 18 for now. So it's still limited into IS1, presentation of financial statement. All of these are actually there. Some of them are there already in the old syllabus, but included some. In fact, one of my colleagues called it, this is a mini financial reporting, right? Inventory is the estimate of cash flows, IS8, even income taxes. Can you imagine? IS16, impairments, 37 and 38. So if you're writing financial accounting, these are the things, some of the things you need to start thinking about. Now, you cannot really test all of this, obviously, but more than 90% will be tested. You know why? At the foundation level, they still have multiple choice questions. So if you have multiple choice questions, I'll give you 40 marks. That means you can ask questions from every area of the entire syllabus. That's very possible. You can ask 2 questions in IS1, another 3 questions in IS2, another 3 questions, in the multiple. So you can test everything. So that's why it is very tricky. But if it is purely theory, obviously you will not be able to test all of the standards, right, in a particular exam. All right, so that's what you have for financial accounting. Then for management accounting, as I mentioned earlier, so these are just the headers in the syllabus. So the more is more detailed. So you have management information. You know, they used to call it management information. Now we came back to management accounting. Again, this is also to prepare candidates for performance management. All right. So that's why when you look at that number B, it's talking about accounting for cost elements, costing methods, forecasting techniques, standard costing. Then you do basic variance analysis, decision-making techniques. So you have a whole lot of things that are embedded here. In fact, Mr. Taiwo that will come up now, I've been working overnight on this material just to be sure that we capture every aspect of the syllabus, right? So a lot of effort has gone into preparing these materials, right? Then for business environment, so this is what we placed what's it called? Business management and finance. So here it's just to make it look like CSME. So that's why you have business process and environment. Under that, you see the nature of business types, organizational structure. So the business environment, you now start to look at the micro and macro, business environment. How does it impact on corporate performance? The role of accountancy in business and society, management and organizational behavior. So all of these, will be treated. Again, if you see that number, okay, look at D. Yeah, I mentioned that element of microeconomics and macroeconomics. The number here is now talking about technology and data analysis. Can you see technology again? So you see that technology is almost everywhere, all right? And the next one, or probably the last, not the least, is the corporate and business law. So here you have Nigerian legal court system, partnership and business name, criminal law, law of commercial transaction, employment law, law of trust and administration of estates, financial dispute resolution. So all of these, have also been carefully reviewed to reflect the mind of the examiner. So at skills level, we say have the 6 papers. All right, so they maintained 5 of them. CSME has been scrapped. It was scrapped actually. So CSME did not replace financial management. That is the mistake that a lot of people were making. They didn't replace it. They scrapped CS. In fact, technically, they didn't even scrap it because the content of CSME, you see some of them in business environment. You also see some of them in strategic financial management at the professional level. So they just pick the CSME and distribute it into other papers. They now introduced financial management. And the issue, why I think they introduced financial management was because the SFM, a lot of people are having issues in SFM, strategic financial management, at professional level. In fact, some people, apart from maybe during your undergraduate program, they are seeing cost of capital for the first time, hedging, merger and acquisition, and all of that. So, it's a lot, right? So, but if you already have some idea at the skills level, so when you get in there, you just do the advanced one. So that's why I think they are introducing financial management here. But again, it is also heavy, right? In terms of you have a lot of things to juggle with performance management. So what that means is this: if you don't have enough time, you may want to pick one of them. If you have performance management and financial management, right? So it's, before now you can do financial reporting, performance management, public sector, and probably CSM. But now that you're having those two, then except you can really manage your time, you want to combine the two. But if you want to combine the two, why not? You can. Yeah, I say it's there for you to, help you navigate this. So let me say that again. If you write skills level at IME exams and you pass all the paper, you are going to professional level. You won't write financial management. But the moment there is a paper that remains for you to write at skills level, after the result is released tomorrow, you will automatically write financial management. Okay? So even if you are past CSM, that's why I said financial management did not replace CSM. Because if it's replacing it, if you are past CSM, then you don't need to write financial management. But that's not in mind of it. So there are 2 different papers. It's not as if they improved on CSM and they call it financial management. No, there are 2 different papers. That's why you cannot replace CSM. So they don't want to make it 7 at the skills level. They still want to maintain that 15 paper curriculum, right? So that's why they removed it, CSM, and redistribute it into other papers. Okay, so please understand that. Now, why I painted financial reporting in red is this. There are a lot of change, or let me call it significant change in financial reporting. You see how the accounting standards, but they introduced a couple of standards. I think I had the breakdown. Let me go there. Okay, so as you can see on number 2, you have audit, assurance, and forensics. Taxation is the public sector is also there. But remember, you have sustainability now in the public sector, right? Now, so look at financial reporting. So this is what I'm going to say. It was surprising, actually. I'm not really surprised about the sustainability framework. You have the ISSB, International Sustainability Standard Board, right? So, which is now added to the IASB, International Accounting Standard Board. You know, International Accounting Standard Board, they issued IAS, the conceptual framework. ISB is conceptual framework. The current one is for 2018. They improved on 2010. We're going to see all of that when you come to class, actually. So we're going to break it down. Of course, so it's now adding ISSB, and the most important is the roadmap for adopting IFRS S1 in Nigeria that was issued by the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria for S1 and S2 actually, but it's limiting its coverage to S1. But there is no way it's going to ask for the roadmap without touching on IFRS S2. So I'm still wondering why they are limiting for S1, but it's fine. Now, the new IFRS that you will come across in financial reporting, have IFRS 18, presentation and disclosure in financial statements. It will be effective 1st January 2027, even though early adoption is permitted. Interestingly, introduced IFRS 13, here value measurement. He has never tested this at the financial reporting level. It's always at the professional level. In fact, I tested it November 2024 exams. I think in that I told them it's going to test IFRS 13. And the question is going to test. We solved it in the class. I told them it's going to test this question. How did I know? Me too, I did not know. Now, interestingly, now introduced IAS 21, the effect of changes in foreign exchange rates. So it has always been in corporate reporting. All of these automatically they are in corporate reporting, but it's not calling it strategic business reporting, right? But now IAS 21 is coming on. So we need to know how to do bureau de change, right? How do you convert from one currency to the other? What is IAS 21 saying around functional currency and presentation currency? What is the impact on the financial statement? We're going to extract all of this when we get in there. And of course, IFRS S1, general requirement for disclosure of sustainability related issues, right? So that's what is bringing on in financial report. So this is a major introduction. Let me call it introduction because it didn't remove anything. In fact, he now emphasized more on ethics, as I mentioned earlier, ethics in financial reporting, artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, you know. So all of that, they are just given anyway. Then financial management, obviously, these are the categories he wanted to look into. It's just looking small like this. So when they start there, financial management, function, and environment, we have great lecturer in this regard. Mr. Sally is there actually. So it's going to break down all of this. I have Mr. Arinwan, but I think Mr. Arinwan will be taking SFM, right? So maybe we'll convince him to also come and take charge here. Right, so you have working capital management, investment appraiser, even Mr. Taiwo, yeah. No, they will bring down this paper for you. So we have 3 people in charge of this financial management. Investment appraiser, obviously, you also have it in SFM, business finance, where you have Islamic finance, they will tell you all of that, business valuation, and of course, risk management, where you have aging and the likes, okay? So I think here, just, for you to be familiar so that when you get to SFM, the life will be much, much easier. At the professional level, what changed drastically is SBR, right? Or let me say CR. So they call it corporate reporting, but now it's strategic business reporting. In fact, if you check my pack for last night, in May, I was already calling it strategic business report, because from May 2024, ICAN has been testing SBR, but people don't know. So me, I already see it coming. So that's the way we lecture our students, right? So SBR, so now formally or officially, is now being called SBR. Is going to be more scenario based, right? In fact, sometimes the examiner would have done the calculation for you. Instead of you doing the calculation, they will now start asking you to do the analysis. And again, they are preparing for the digitalized exams. Okay, I'm going to talk about that shortly. Time is fast spent. Then you have advanced audit assurance and forensics, strategic financial management. So they removed some content from financial management, but remember they added some content from CSME. So our lecturers are evaluating advanced taxation, some tweak as well. Case study remained the same largely, even though they also, I think for case study, they may now, because they removed CSME, so business model might now come back, officially. From November 2019, he has not been really testing business model until 2024 when he tested, what's it called? What they call this? He introduced one model at that time. Then, yes. So, but he has not been, really consistent about that. Even though we're already seeing this coming as well. So that's why when we do the pre-scene, we try to look at all relevant business model for you guys to, be familiar with. So in case you decide to bring that on, but he made more. So apparently he didn't want to call it strategic business leader. He needs to say that's what they call it, and it's more theoreticals around organizational structure, business models, and all of that. But probably because he still want us to be doing financial analysis. So that's why, because in our KO, they still do financial analysis. So that's why it's still calling it case study. So our case still call it case study. SEMA, I think case study as well. But they say it's only the one calling it strategic business. So it's a bit different, right? And I think CIBM too, they still call it case study. So that's what we have there. All right, so we are ready for all of this, right? Okay, so let me go to, okay. Oh, okay, so I have strategic business reporting. Okay, I think I've mentioned this. Yeah, sustainability and integrated reporting is more prevalent. Sustainability, we've been seeing integrated reporting before now, but it's also re-emphasizing of that. Now, although in the section of the syllabus, even in the old syllabus, it will automatically say that all standards in the lower level are applicable at the professional level. What that means is all your accounting standards at financial reporting are also automatically tested at the professional level. But let me say two syllabus revision. The one that ended in 2014, 2019, this 2021 that they are replacing, they've not tested all those IFRS at financial reporting level. Remember, for example, you barely see IS 16 in corporate reporting. You barely see IS 40, IS 20, accounting for government grant, borrowing costs. You don't see them at all. They may test IS 8. I've seen that, so that's why I take that, right? But now, instead of he still said it in the current syllabus, but he now call out all of these standards in SBR. Why? Because of ACC. All of these are in ACC actually. So that means that we need to go back to start looking at IS 16 PP because it's given that you must have done this in your financial reporting. IS 38, that he has been testing IS 38 anyway, but not all the time, maybe once in a while, just throw it out. IS 40 investment property. I know IS 38 is sometimes tricky. If I want to start, I would say asset you cannot see or touch. So if you cannot see an asset and you cannot touch it, how do you recognize it as an asset? So that makes it interesting, right? Okay, so IS 20, accounting for government grant. When a government or government agency gives your company money, how do you account for that? So you see that under IS 20. IS 20 will now start telling you, is it grant related to income or grant related to assets? So you're going to extract all of this. Then borrowing costs, I'm also surprised that it's coming up here. Even though you may not immediately test them, obviously we are going to look at all of this. So that means we really need to manage time. That's why we are starting June 28th. We need to start on time. So whenever you borrow money to construct a qualifying asset, IAS 23 will apply. And what is a qualifying asset? So what IAS 23 is saying is it has to be a qualifying asset. Those assets that take substantial amount of time to get ready for the intended use or sale. Example, you want to construct a supermarket or third mainland bridge. It will take time to construct. Then once you borrow money to construct that asset, then you apply IAS 23. So what this is saying in essence is, instead of you expensing, you can decide to capitalize. So we're going to see all of that. Interestingly, he also called out IAS 29, financial reporting in hyperinflationary economies. I even expected him to test this in the last exam, but he didn't do that because, you know, there was a discussion whether Nigerian economy is already in hyperinflation. I think FRC, they wrote a circular in that regard that no, because the economy is already showing all the symptoms and all of that. So we already prepared notes in this regard, and we're going to explain. Of course, IFRS 18, the new standard replacing S1 is there. IFRS S1, of course, IFRS S2 that deals with climate-related disclosures. All right. So because of time, let me just speak to the readiness assessment on the planned digitalized professional exams. So this is my take. Now, I need you to listen. We are not sure whether ICAN is actually ready for this, but obviously it's something they are thinking about. And the new ICAN president mentioned that, you know, it's going to go live in November. So we don't know how it's going to look like. But let me share my experience with ACCA. So I don't know the model ICAN is going to adopt, but just for you to, you know, start thinking about it. So you don't need to panic. So in ACCA, there is a designated sentence, or there are designated centers. So you choose your center where you want to write. So at those centers, computers are already there, right? So when you want to enter, they look at your ID card, government issued ID card. So just to be sure that you are the one. So they confirm on the system that you actually you are ready. You're the one that registered for that exam. Then you go in. So the moment you go in, the system, the screen is already showing the paper you're going to write. You know, it has, for example, for SBR, you have international, you have UK, right? So, and for Nigerian students, you are doing international. Because if you click on UK, they will asking you for UK regulation, UK gap, and all of that. So even for AAA, what's it called? Advanced Financial Management, right? So it's already there. And now, mind you, at the point of registration, they would have allocated a system for you. So as you are, they will now say, okay, that's your seat is this number. So the moment you get in there, your name is already displayed on the system because they've already allocated. That means you cannot use another system, right? So once you now sit, and it's exactly 9 o'clock, if you are doing morning exam, they also have afternoon exams and all of that, right? So once it is 9, then the system will say ready, then you click, the time starts. Meanwhile, before the exam day, ACCA has a practice platform. So you must have gone to their website to do a demo. It will time you, you know, 3/4 hour. It's going to time you. So you would have seen how the system works. Calculator is there. How do you respond? How do you answer this? How do you know? You would have seen all of that. So you cannot get to that exam and on that day and start trying to navigate. It will waste time. So you're already used to that, right? Even though me, I did not do. I don't think I did the practice. I just look at it. I know this one's guy. Okay, so and you can go back and you know all of that. So per section, you answer all the questions. There is nothing like you are choosing, you know. So question 1 is there, question 2, so it will start and you can come back. Now, how do you answer? You're not going to write, though, you are typing. I don't know whether ICAN will now say you should be writing. You know, there's a way you can write on tablets and be showing on screen. So, but for the one I wrote, we did not write, it was typing. Now, we can respond in 3 ways, depending on the question. We can use Word to respond. So there's a navigation bar already. Click Word, we have Excel, then you have PowerPoint. All right. So depending on the type of question, whether I want to use Excel, if it is something we need to post, let's say you want to write revenue and all these things, and you can do the formula, you can formalize it, then that means you need to use Excel. If it is a discussion paper, then you need to use a Word, just the typing, even though some calculation can be there, quickly press your calculator. So either use your calculator or use the system calculator, depending on the one that you want to use. And if they say you should present, that means you will use PowerPoint. All right. Now, one major thing that I now saw was this. When I wrote SBI and I left the exam on, I have some of my friends that was also writing SBI, but they had to write afternoon paper. So I was not telling them, this is what they brought. They brought the standard. Yeah. And you know, the way they brought those standards is not the way I can test those standards. In fact, they will do the answer, they've done the answer, just for you to start analyzing. So it made me to see accounting standards from another perspective, right? And they are all practical scenarios. It's not that if somebody starts somewhere and start thinking of those questions, right? So I was telling them, interestingly, when they came out of the exam hall, they did not write the same exam that I wrote. In fact, all of my friends, we did not write the same XBR. What does that mean? It now reminded me of JAM, where you have type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4. In fact, by the time I did the counting, SBR question was about 10. And it is the system that will choose the type that you're going to write. That makes it so interesting, and that makes it look as if like you can't even even if maybe you've seen SBR question, maybe by accident or whatever, you are not sure that the SBR question that you saw is the one that the system will choose for you. So that makes it look so interesting. Now, again, that's my experience this year. So I don't know what ICAN is going to adopt. Will they say like CIBN? You know, CIBN is multiple choice, but you will do it in your house. All right. So you do it in your, you don't need to go to any center. But before you do it, once you log on to the platform, you will now, whether you're using your system or whatever, you have to do 360 recording of your room, you know, just to see, so that they can see that if you don't write anything on the wall, nobody is there, it will record it. Otherwise, if you don't do that, they will cancel that paper. That's what they do in CID before you start the exam. So I don't know, we don't know yet what model ICAN is going to adopt, right? But I can assure you that this is the way to go. What does that mean? Start learning how to type. That's my advice, all right? That's why we say readiness assessment. If you don't know how to type, you don't know how to quickly do control whatever, you know, Windows, whatever, you know, and the funny thing is, after you have typed everything, all of a sudden your hand just, you know, click on something, and everything you have typed just delete when they say 5 minutes to go. And you don't know that you can quickly do Control Z to bring me back. So you need to learn all of this, okay? Go and learn how to type, how to use Word. Is Word, normal Word, okay? Go and learn Excel. Go and start learning it. If you need to go and pay, okay? If this digital whatever meets you, which they are saying November, I don't know whether they are ready, okay? Go and learn PowerPoint. That's what I saw in ACCA, but I don't know ICAN. But obviously, that's what they will adopt. Okay, learn Excel, how to do all those formula, how to, you know, go and learn it. Start learning them. All right. So that is my honest advice for you. Okay. So you don't need to panic. Go and learn how to use computer. So some people, when we have meetings, you know, they will say, unmute yourself to speak. There's some people, they don't know where to unmute. They just be looking at it and say, nothing unmute by you. You know, you have to be digitally inclined. Okay, so this is very important. I know you enjoy this, and I can speak on and on, but I need to allow my next speaker. Time is gone. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you. So let me allow my moderator to come. Okay, thank you. My moderator, so you can unmute, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ayomi. Thank you. We learn a lot of things from your wealth of knowledge regarding this topic. Thank you very much. And I'm sure that our students, they are prepared now for everything that ICAN wants to, bring to their part. All right. So without wasting much time, if you have any question, please don't forget to drop your question on our chat button. So we'll be taking the question there. Okay, so we invite Mr. Taiwo Ibrahim now to take the last topic that we have on our focus tonight. So thank you. Mr. Taiwo Ibrahim, please, if you are in the house, can you unmute yourself and you can present. Mr. Taiwo, are you there? Okay, just give me 1 minute. Mr. Taiwo? Okay, please, if you have any question, you can drop your question. I get the second. Okay, Mr. Taiwo.
Okay, can you reach out to him on phone? Maybe he's having a network issue. If that is
Yes,
the case, I can quickly take this.
Yes, I'm doing that right away, but Shama, I think you can go.
Okay, okay. So let's look at the practical preparation tips for ICAN, but this is credited to Mr. Taiwo Ibrahim. So he's the one that put this together. And I've not looked at it actually, but I know what can be there. All right. So I think it's having serious network issue. So let me just do this in the next 5 to 10 minutes so that we can go and rest. I know some of us are still going to work tomorrow. Okay, so let's look at the introduction. So here it says to prepare effectively for ICAN examinations, focus on structured study plan, utilizing active learning activity techniques, and managing your time and well-being. Okay, so what do you mean by structured study plan? It's like having a timetable. But let me also say something. For some students, it may work or it may not work for them. But the advantage of having a study plan is that it makes you to be serious about it. To say, okay, I know what to read now, what to read tomorrow, so that you don't channel all your energy or time on a particular paper. At every level, there's always a paper that will demand more time. For example, at professional level, it used to be PM, but now I know FM, financial management, will be jealous, right? So we want to take much of your time. So the question is, how do you prepare for financial reporting and the other papers? At the professional level, it is the strategic financial management, okay? It will take a whole lot of your time. But if you have a structured plan, it will help you, to redistribute your time to this study. Now, it now said you should also utilize active learning techniques. So how do you really learn? So that's always the problem. For example, you see that students are faced with when they try to memorize, they forget, all right, they can't even recall. It's simple. There's a simple answer to that. It's because you are stressed. You have so many activities going on. So it will be very difficult for you to recollect all of this. So you now need to start planning on how do you really engage in active learning techniques. So there are a whole lot that we can discuss here, but obviously when we get to class beyond teaching, we also discuss some of these things. Manage your time. I think I mentioned that your well-being is very important. For example, let me give you my own experience. If I'm hungry, I cannot read. I know. I can't read anything. So I need to eat first, or even if I don't have food, at least maybe snacks, water, and all of that. So then well-being, your general well-being, your health, you cannot be sick and say you want to manage to come for lectures. No, you have to treat that first. Because only when you are healthy that it helps you to actually learn. Now, another important thing from what you can see on your screen is that you have to start early. A lot of people, when the exam is fast approaching, they now start, rushing. Where are they doing intensive class? Where are they doing, what's it called? Where are they doing? They want a miracle. Let me put it that way, right? Let me put it that way. So you have to start early so that it helps you. Now, don't get me wrong, some people may do intensive, they may even start finishing the exam and they still pass. This brain is not configured the same way. You need to understand your own strengths and your weaknesses, right? What works for you, right? For me, if I want to write an exam, I don't write an exam not prepared for. I don't want to write an exam. I don't have an idea of the entire syllabus. No, I don't want to do that. So if I know I want to prepare for exam, I will start in. That's even though I know my brain has capacity to, capture a lot of things, even at dead hour. But again, I don't want to write an exam and fail, right? So you need to understand what works for you. Don't neglect your mental and physical health, as we've said. Practice with past questions, review regularly, and get enough sleep. Because your mental condition, your physical well-being will also automatically, influence your assimilation. And that's very important. Now, what are the practical tips? Just let's count through them. Early planning and preparation. We mentioned that. Start early. Don't procrastinate. Now, some of you are here now, which is very important. I think I have 100 people on YouTube watching live. I have 100 people on Google Meet. That's over 200 already. And a lot of people still watch this. So it's part of preparation. You're already starting early. You want to know what's the syllabus about, how do we go about it. Procrastination, they will say, is a tip of time, is a tip of the time, right? Creating a realistic study schedule, like we said earlier. Organize your study space by finding a dedicated areas with minimal distraction. So in your house, you can also see maybe you need to get a table and a chair. If you are reading on the bed, you will sleep now. That's sleeping pig. Except you can manage it. Some people can actually manage that. But for me, I can't read on the bed now. I will sleep. In fact, sometimes I have to push myself to go out of the house, go to a school or something so that I can read. So you need to take this seriously, right? Identify your weakness by determining which area requires more attention. So some, the way the brain is wired, some brain relates well with calculation, some with theoretical. So you need to know, right? That's why ICAN knows that more than 80% of the brain can cram, but you can't cram calculation. Do you get it? Now, meanwhile, they are now moving away from what you can cram to what you must understand. So they also know that you can also maneuver some calculations once you have some fair idea. So that's why they are now going to the current trend. How do you import these current issues in the economy into reality, emerging issues? How do you manipulate? So that will require strategic thinking, right? So know your areas of weaknesses and of course your area of strength. So this is very important. Now, number 2, effective study technique. So what do? Active learning by summarizing your material in your own words. You can even teach people, Some people learn by teaching people. So what works for you? You need to know. And you need to minimize distractions, right? So for example, you're in class, you are pressing your phone, you are on IG Live, you're on YouTube, Yes, it's okay if you maybe during break and all of that, but at that period, you really need to listen to what the lecturer is saying. I normally say something. Understanding is like lights. Something is dark. There's no light there. You don't know where to move on, where to move to, whether right or left, right? The moment there's an illumination, everything is clear. That's the way understanding is. All of these things that I can explain on the syllabus is not an human being that put it there. Is it not a human being that will come to the class to teach you? Then you need to also configure your mindset that I can understand this. All right. Utilize past question is very important. And for IFRS, this can be, maybe you can use the last 5 diets, not more than 5 or 7 diets because of changes in some accounting standards, right? Maybe some other paper, you can see use up to last 10 diets, okay? Stimulating exam condition, practice under timed condition, and this is very important. Some of us may not practice, like myself. When I wrote most of this exam, I didn't practice. Actually, case study, I didn't practice any reports, probably because I write reports in practice and all of that, okay? But you may want to practice, right? That's why you need to understand what works for you. Before you write question 1, question 2, they will say 10 minutes to go, okay? Because I normally say that ICAN is testing 2 things in the exam hall. Number 1, your speed. They are testing your speed. That's why if we want to humiliate you with long stories in all the papers, long stories, speed. How can you quickly read and assimilate? Number 2, accuracy. That's the 2 things it's testing. So when you are writing, are you accurate? Are you writing correct numbers? Are you doing correct calculations, correct explanation? That's what it's testing. So you may want to also test yourself under exam condition. That's why, you have mock exams and all of that just to help. Vary your study methods by color coding. There's a way your brain can connect to your study text. For example, let me give you my own personal example. I cannot read directly from textbooks when I was in school. Yes, even when I was writing, I can't. I will not remember. But the moment I'm able to summarize it in my own words, the same wordings, but I was able to write it out in my own book, my brain can connect it. So I can remember. I can code it with color, the last one there is acronyms, mnemonics, and all of that. So it helps you to remember. That is only limited for exam. If you're a lecturer, you don't want to do that. you can't say I'm a lecturer. Then what I wanted to lecture, my brain should be able to connect to it. No, it must not, it must be from your head to toe. You must chew it. That's why a lecturer will not be taking a topic that will take 1 hour for 2 hours because the duration is 2 hours. Meanwhile, I can take 2, 3 topics in 2 hours, but because he has not read the next topic, so he's now wasting time in taking one topic that can be taken for 1 hour for 2 hours. He's not wasting time. You don't do that. That's why I said a lazy person cannot be a lecturer. It cannot. So you should be able to at least 90% of the syllabus of the content in your head without reliance on paper. It's a whole lot of work, but over time, you'll be used to it. That's why our students will appreciate what you do. So on the student aspect, because you are still learning, you have work, you have family, you have so many things to attend to. So that's why you now need to create a way, special way that your brain can remember. You can connect. Some people can cram to the extent that some people can read directly from text. They will even know the page. If they did not remember that page, it's on page 10, they will not remember what is on page 11. They will cram line by line, comma. If they do not remember that comma, they will remember the next item there. All right. And I can already know all of this, right? So that's why it's changing the magic because, like you said earlier, you wanted to prepare future-ready professionals, okay? So this number 2 is really instructive, effective study technique. So it's very important. Then manage your well-being. Regular breaks, by stepping away, in the center. If you're writing all the papers, obviously, it is just your break time, 1 hour, SFCA, for example. But if you are not writing all the paper, you can just stand up. Let me tell you, let me give you one practical thing that I do. Let's say I'm reading, right? After straight 2 hours, I've read. What do? I'll now stand up. I'll just walk. I'll just walk around, around the school. Just walk around. I can even pick my phone, look at IG, what's going on on IG, read some news and all of that, right? After 5-10 minutes, I will now come back. So when I come back, I will not resume that reading immediately. I will now start checking. Okay, what I read in the last 2 hours, can I remember? I'll start recollecting. What have I done? See, this is what I've done. I have tried to distract my brain, from reading. I've done something else. I've opened the phone, looked at, even calls or missed calls, So I've distracted my brain. Let me tell you something. On the day of the exam, your brain will be distracted, whether you like it or not. If you drove to your exam hall, it's already distracted. If you enter public bus, it's already distracted. So you need to train that brain before that day. So if your brain is distracted, you're inside traffic, you are driving, or somebody is driving you, then when you get to the exam, the next thing is you are looking for the location, you are looking for your table and all of that. So the brain is already distracted. So if you now get into the exam hall, can your brain recollect what I've been reading since January or since July? So that's why you need to start training your brain in that manner. So do break, step away from your studies so that you can avoid burnout, stay healthy, ensure you get enough sleep. Some people will read a day to the exam, they will be doing overnight till 5 a.m. So 6 a.m. they now step out, the eyes will be so red. Right? And they are going to the exam hall. When you now go to the exam hall, they'll just be hearing, oh, as if they are frying plantain in their head because they did not sleep. How do you want to write an exam? You will not sleep. I don't understand. How will your brain even think? You see, why are you stressing yourself? That's why we said start early so that you don't put yourself in unnecessary pressure. No matter how busy you are at work, even if it is 30 minutes per day before you sleep, 1 hour, 2 hours, it will go a long way. If you normally sleep around 8 p.m. or 9 p.m., then start sleeping at 11 p.m. or 12 a.m. Then wake up around 4, 5, or 6, depending on your proximity to work. Because this is ICAN. You need to pay that sacrifice. Maybe you want to get the certificate now. It's not bread and butter, what they call it. So you have to pay that sacrifice. And what you need to understand is that sacrifice is not for life. It's just for a matter of time. Just get this certificate and move on. It's as simple as that, right? Manage exam stress through practice realization techniques like deep breathing and all of that, okay? Exam day preparation. So let's see. Guarding of necessary materials by ensuring you have all stationery ready. I remember when I wrote PSAP exam, I was in front of what's it called? Amu on Dolphin ICAN Center. So we're standing, I think they've not opened the gate because I was there very early. Around maybe 8:30, we were trying to enter the exam. That's one woman came in. The first thing we were just asking people, we said, what is CRF? Consolidated Relief Fund. Láàárọ̀ PSAP, ẹgbà ní ará àdúgbò. Then the next thing, he brought one calculator. As he pressed the calculator no gree on. Can you see calculator here? This is my table, this is my reading table, this is our lecture, right? That's why I say everything is here. You need to have something like this in your room. You know that this is where I read, right? The calculator was not coming on. How can you buy a new calculator a day to the exam? I don't understand. You should have been using the calculator prior to the exam. You are used to it. You know where the minus, raised to power, all this, whatever is. Is there on there? There's an exam. You don't feel raised to power. You need exam. Your village people are already following you. The man has the bike back to my 2 to go and get calculator. Need to 9. Sorry, it's the way I'm speaking. I don't know. You need to be prepared. Why you go with one pen into the exam? One pen. The pen may be working in the last 3 months. That day of the exam, you refuse to work. You can't go with one pen. If you can go with 5, why not? And let me tell you something. Don't be jealous of people that are taking extra sheets in the exam hall. It has happened to me. I was writing advanced taxation 30 minutes after, maybe 30 or 45 minutes after. So people are already taking extra sheet. I have to look at the question by me. Oh, is it taxation paper they gave me? Is it advanced taxation? Is it the same exam? They're already taking extra sheets. Hey, what's going on here? I have to go and look at the back of the exam paper again. Oh. Something now told me that what if they are rewriting the question into the into the answer script? Oh my god. What if they are repeating? That's why don't be jealous. Just make sure that you are doing the right thing. Focus on your paper. I remember that day I finished advanced taxation 1 hour 25 minutes. I'm not joking. The entire exam, 3 hours. That time it was 3 hours, not even 3/4 hour. 3 hours. I finished 1 hour 25 minutes. I was done with advanced taxation. And I normally mark myself because they put the marks there. So when I marked, I scored 63, my own marking, 63 or 65. I slept inside that exam hall. I slept. So one of the invigilators came to wake me. In fact, I was drinking in the exam hall. He now came to, because I cannot go and submit. He now came to wake me. He said, "Are you okay?" I said, "I'm fine." So the man said, "Why are you not writing?" I said, "I'm done." Really? You look at the time. You now look at my paper like this. My paper was so scanty. Even me, I was scared. The man now shook his head like this. And what happened? You are done? I said, yes. He just shook his head like this and left. So I now went back again. Transition of me. I did this thing correct. I just went straight to the point. Now when the result came out, I think I had 80 or something. So sometimes the examiner don't want all those long whatever. Just go straight to the point. What they wanted is your quality presentation. And how can you do this? In fact, it has started now. From tomorrow now, when the result is released, that's why we strategically placed this webinar for today, right? So that whatever happens tomorrow, especially some of you that you already know, maybe you are crossing to skills, you are going to professional, you start early. That's why we are starting on June 28th. So we already know the result will be released this week, all right? So let's start early. So on the day of the exam, get all your necessary material, your pencil, your pen, whatever you need, your calculator for that exam. Plan your route by familiarizing with your exam location. Some people, on the day of the exam, they will not start looking for location. And in recent time, because ICAN is also struggling with the location, this diet that is Ikeja 3, another diet that is no Ikeja 3, they are moving the Ikorodu Center to Mowe, it's always happening because they have to do a lot of negotiation, getting those location ready and all of that. That's why when I was talking about the digitalized exam, we don't really know the model they want to adopt. I think I also saw somebody's comment to say that means they need to now equip all those centers with computers, or we didn't start asking people to be writing from their house, so we don't really know what they want to do. But whichever case it is, once you have your what they call it, exam docket, right? Just go and locate that place, or you go as early as possible. And especially if you're writing in Lagos, you know what traffic can be, right? Read the questions carefully and manage your time during the exam. So this one I normally advise. Once you have the question, don't go to the questions first, go to the requirements, right? Read the requirement first, then go and read the question. When you're reading it for the first time, you'll be a little bit slower. Then the second time, you're a little bit faster. So you're just picking the point for you to, to help you to address that those questions. So FCA wish you the very best of luck, and I hope you are blessed tonight. So let me hand over back to our moderator as we close for today. But don't forget, we are starting June 28th, this Saturday. Not waiting behind. But let's listen to one or two questions that we can attend to. But my moderator, you can take over. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. This is an eye-opener for us and for the students. We really appreciate your effort We appreciate the professionalism that you have demonstrated for the student tonight. And we can always say, we always say that God bless you. And we wish our students success in the result that is going to be released tomorrow. All right. So I'm going through the question now. I think it's only one question I have here. Maybe from your side, you can also check. But the question I have here, I think the student is wants to know, because ICAN is, since ICAN is going to be testing from a new syllabus, that do we still need to start practicing questions from year 2014? That's the question from the student. Do we still need to start practicing question, as in treating past question from year 2014?
Okay. Okay, can you hear me, please?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we won't do from 2014. I think I mentioned that earlier. For SBR, that's strategic business reporting, or maybe financial accounting and financial reporting, 5 to 7 diets is okay. So what that means is we are in November 2025, so you can practice from May 2025, then count 7 diets backward, right? That will be sufficient. But for other papers, you can still do 10 diets. Is that okay? So 10 diets will fly. So you don't really need to go 2014. Most of those things are okay. In fact, if you ask me, I would say from 2020, we are good, right? Even though some IFRS has changed between 2020 and up to now, but 2020 are still very good to go. Thank you very much. I also have a comment here, or is it a question from Mary? So Mary is saying, thank you so much for the opportunity. I'm not on any of the platform. I joined from Accounting Professional channel. Okay, will it also, okay, so some people are asking for the material. Yes, so we are going to make it public. We'll send it to the WhatsApp platform. You can go through the 2 material that was presented this evening. Meanwhile, you can reach us on 0036324090. You can see that on the chat button. 0036324090. Let me take that again. 0036324090. So any question on ICAN, on lectures, even if you are having some personal issues, you can feel free to discuss with us. We'll be glad to help you. So we are ready for you guys, So we expect you guys on Saturday, 7 a.m. FCA doesn't joke with time. It will start at 7 actually. Thank you very much. My moderator, you say I have one or 2 days to say before we close. Thank you.
All right. Okay. So let me take from Sunday Rebecca. Sunday wants to know when ICAN is going to upload the new and revised study material.
Okay. Well, they didn't tell us, so we are not sure, and I'm not too sure whether the materials are ready. But notwithstanding, the essay zone is ready. So when you call, you will get it, which is it's a standard pack actually. We used ACCA study material. We used all this regulation like FRC, CAMA. We did a lot of research to bring those materials together. So it's very rich, and it will really help for your exams, right? But since you're outside Lagos, you might need to rely on your local tuition provider. So for now, we are unsure when ICAN is going to upload that. And they can do that any moment from now, but I'm not really too certain whether it is ready, right? Based on the new syllabus. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Someone said we need online study. Okay, so we're working on that. Once we are able to finalize that modality, we'll reach out. I think we are good for tonight. So if you have further questions, please reach out to us on 0036324090. We're willing to answer our question. Thank you very much. I think my moderator, can we close the meeting?
All right, thank you. So we are expecting a lot of congratulations tomorrow, and we pray that we share testimony. For people that is moving from one level to another level, we are expecting you to join early on Saturday, 7 a.m. Right? You will meet us there. We are kickstarting. We are not wasting time. So thank you for joining us, and do have a good night rest. Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining. We will share the material shortly so I can go through them. Thank you. Bye-bye. Good night.